Well, we managed to squeeze in another nice day across the Northeast, but not for much longer, as we've got rain coming up from the south. Rained all day here in North Georgia, and we are also going to take a look at the rest of the weather for the week ahead. And who else to do it better but Joe Rayo and myself, Joe Chaffee, right here on tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. And of course, if you'd like to support the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast and you don't want to spend any money out of your own pocket, well, do it with your Amazon account and do it by using our referral link that's pinned to the top of the chat board. Or you can also find it on the descriptor to this podcast on YouTube. Just search for whatever it is you're going to buy. And when you buy it, Amazon throws us back a little bit of coin for sending you there. It doesn't cost you 1 extra cent out of your own pocket. And it keeps the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast free of advertisements, at least when you are watching it live, which you are doing right now. So you looked like you had a pretty nice day overall. I thought clouds would have started coming in sooner, but you got a nice little wall there with that high. So the clouds are going to come in like a wall.
Joe, it looks like it's going to be a stretch. Hope all of you enjoyed the last few days because now we're going into a stretch of clouds, and I think every day this week we're going to have a period where we're going to have to deal with precipitation that not only goes for the work week, but maybe right on into the upcoming weekend as well. Now, we're not talking about continuous, constant, steady rain.
Right.
We'll be talking about, light rain, drizzle, showers here and there. It'll be wet. Let's put it that way, or damp, beginning about midday or early afternoon tomorrow.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to be like straight gloom and doom every waking minute. There might even be a few short stretches where the sun may try to come out, in which case it'll all just self-destruct anyway, because you got this cold upper low that's going to take forever to get through. And all that does is it makes the atmosphere that much more unstable. As soon as the sun comes out, clouds develop, and then you get the showers.
And I actually think that later on this week, we might even be able to use the word muggy to define
Ooh.
the weather. We'll have temperatures maybe near or above 80, and dew point temperatures will be approaching or maybe even exceeding 60. And once again, as was the case many times last summer, we'll be dealing with muggy conditions.
Yeah, it rained here. It started raining pretty much after the show was done last night, and then it rained on and off all night, and pretty much all morning into about 2 or 3 o'clock this afternoon. And then it got sun came out, bright and sunny, puffy Q here and there. So I ran down to the gardening place. It's called General Supply here in Blairsville, and picked up some mulch and some more plants, and then ran right back home, put it in the ground, and then jumped in the shower, and now I'm all cleaned up just in time for the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. You wouldn't want to see me um, if I hadn't taken a shower. I was covered
Would,
in
would you ever?
I was
Would you
covered in
ever?
mulch,
Would you have been mistaken for Pigpen from Peanuts?
pretty much,
Perhaps?
pretty much.
Yeah.
Welcome tonight to everybody on the chat board, and to those of you watching in the background. Welcome to tonight's Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. We're a regular here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35 p.m. However, tomorrow night we will have an 8 o'clock start. Am I correct?
That is correct. In fact, I was just informed a short while ago that I'm making a rare in person appearance at one of the local libraries near my home. And apparently, I sold the place out for tomorrow night.
Oh, wonderful. You gonna wear a tie?
And Renata wanted to know, he said, are they charging admission? I said, no, it's free. It's free. So,
Well, Joe, I'm sure that we could probably, sell tickets on StubHub to get you, you know, to get you an income stream. I don't think that would be a big problem. Anyhow, welcome tonight to everybody that's on the chat board, those of you watching in the background. As I said, we're here Sunday through Thursday at 7:35, except tomorrow night we're going to have a late start at 8 o'clock. So make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn your notifications on so you don't miss us. And of course, if you like the show, hit the like button. So,
Vincent Croce says, "Wow, SRO, 25 people." I will say, let me tell you, Vincent, back on Friday when I checked in with the library, they said, "Well, we already have 34 people, so it's going to be at least 34." I'm not sure if the capacity was 40 or 50 or whatever, but in any case, it makes them very happy, I think, when they see a lot of people come to hear somebody give a talk. So it'll be fun tomorrow
what's
night.
the population of Shrub Oak?
Oh, I don't know. It's a little community. I don't know. I would guess 2,000, 3,000 people. I'm not sure.
Well, that's not too shabby. 2 to 3% of the population coming out to see, uh, you know, the great Joe Rayo.
The
What
great Joe.
what will you be talking about?
It's called and now here's the forecast. I'm going to talk about basically, what you and I experienced in our 40 plus years of broadcasting, Joe. What it all goes into putting together a forecast, and also talking about how it evolved from something serious into basically show business, and continuing onward, talking about what it takes to um, make a forecast, where the data comes from, and I might even touch upon what has been going on in recent weeks with the radiosondes going up and suddenly the balloon launchings that are being diminished because of the um, situation regarding cutting the budget. And I hope I don't get into an argument with anybody in the audience tomorrow night. But in any case, that's basically what it's going to be all about.
All right, very good. All right, let's take a look at what's going on tonight because we do have some adverse weather warnings and advisories and watches. Just about the whole state of Virginia and most of North Carolina in flash flood watches. There are also various flooding and flood advisories in the lighter green that have been issued. Then there's a gap until you get it to Alabama. Central Alabama counties are all under a flash flood watch. And then going south down Florida, southern Florida is under a flash flood watch. As I said, was rained all day, although it seemed like it rained more than I actually got. I think I might have gotten an inch total adding last night and today, but I'm not 100% sure. We have some heat advisories up for parts of in inland South Texas. Red flag warnings up in the upper Midwest and in the northern plains, also in the Southwest, where there's wind advisories up to it, even some high wind watches that are up as well. And we've got a couple of winter storm watches, avalanche warnings, a winter storm warning in southern Montana, and some winter weather advisories. So there's still a little bit of winter weather hanging on in a few places up in the northern Rockies. And, you know, the satellite today kind of looks like what we saw yesterday, with the exception of the fact that the clouds in the east are a little bit further to the north, and the high clouds are starting to move north of New York City into southern New England. The upper low is still just kind of spinning its way into to sort of move a little northward into western Tennessee, and you just got this giant rotation. And of course, you see the brighter white clouds off the Florida coast, and then running up through Virginia, North Carolina, and Virginia. That is. I'm sorry. Just give me 1 second here. Just there we go. Just best. I'm just trying to do two things at once. Anyway, uh, I don't know why it's been doing this. This is supposed to show. I always like to use the one with the lightning strikes, and I guess it got switched to the regular one. But you can see where the lightning strikes are, these sort of narrow north-south bands that are moving northward from Georgia to South Carolina. A little thunderstorm there in eastern North Carolina, a lot more activity in southeastern Florida. None of this is really in the very few of these storms. Every once in a while, you'll get one that's a severe thunderstorm, but this is not really a situation that produces widespread severe thunderstorm activity. It's really more of a rain issue than anything else.
And we talked about this last week, and we had even touched upon it last night. The pattern that we're into or looking at right now is called a Rex block, where we have that big upper level low prevailing over the southern United States. But we also have a dome of high pressure, which is helping to, it's kind of like cradling that low pressure system over the south. In other words, it's preventing the storm from going very far, moving very rapidly. And that big high pressure system to the north is also providing not only a copious amount of sunshine, but also heat. Joe, there are places out across, for example, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Nebraska. These are places that are seeing temperatures soar well up into the 80s, even into the 90s. In fact, some record highs in the 90s being set across parts of the Dakotas. Again, that's due to that big blocking ridge of high pressure. And again, kind of cradling around that low, which is now down over the southern states and not really moving very much. It's moving, but it's moving very slowly. And as you see with that arrow that Joe has sweeping across Florida and northward, that's bringing up the moisture, translating into cloud cover, and also translating into areas of rain, some of which are rather heavy across portions of the Carolinas. And eventually, some of that rain is going to work its way into the New York City tri-state area. Not heavy rain. I think, Joe, tomorrow, midday, early afternoon, we may see some spotty light rain or drizzle develop, and that'll continue. They'll probably be doing that tomorrow night locally into the first part of tomorrow night. Then, after midnight tomorrow night, that spotty area of precipitation will kind of steady out, so to speak. We'll have a steadier period of light rain and drizzle continuing or carrying over into Wednesday. And when we get to Thursday, you mentioned the possibility of maybe seeing some intermittent precip, maybe some breaks of sun. And if we do get sun on Thursday, hazy sun, that's going to help bolster temperatures up to or above 80. It'll also help to bring the humidity up, and dew point temperatures up. And that's why later on this week, it may actually be trending toward kind of a muggy weather pattern for us here in the immediate New York area, which makes it all the more reason to look back and enjoy the wonderful weather that we had Saturday, Sunday, and even during the day today. Even though today was a bit cloudier than Saturday and Sunday, turned out to be another really nice one. Hope you enjoyed it, because now we're going to have to pay the price, I think, for the balance of this week.
The radar has the wall in southern Delaware, southwest PA, northern Ohio. You can see there are bands of light to moderate rain in the darker greens and yellows, arcing from Ohio into West Virginia. It's not continuous, it's very patchy. Another patch in southwest Virginia, a couple of patches in the eastern half of North Carolina. There's actually a little red box on the South Carolina side of the Georgia border there, and that's a tornado warning that has gone up. So, you get this warm tropical air like this with a cold upper low. Sometimes, those tend to produce isolated severe thunderstorms and also can occasionally produce a spin up of a EF0 tornado. So that could be what that is. You can see patchy, heavier showers and some rumbles of thunder across Tennessee, back through Missouri, into Arkansas, and into northern Mississippi and northern Alabama. Meanwhile, in Montana, we've got rain and some snow going on in this area here. Precipitation extending down into Idaho. You've got patchy, popcorny showers and some rumbles of thunder in parts of the Northwest and probably in some of the higher elevations there, seeing a little bit of snow. We have no severe thunderstorm watches up at the moment. The Storm Prediction Center has a marginal risk in the southeast and a marginal risk in northeastern Montana and northwestern North Dakota for tonight. Tomorrow, no severe being indicated, but areas of general thunderstorm activity in the mid Atlantic, the southeast, the deep south, the Tennessee, Ohio Valley to the lower lakes, and also back in the plains, the northern plains, and into the northern Rockies. Now, day three, and this is Wednesday into Thursday, we have a marginal to slight risk in the Dakotas into south into Nebraska. Not a very large geographic area, but we do have 2 days in the long range. Day six became day five. Now it's day four on SBC's long range. Same area. Wisconsin, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Western Ohio, Western Kentucky, small portion of Northwest Tennessee and Southeast Missouri. 15% implies that there probably will be a slight risk, and I'm sure there will also be some elevated tornado risk. And on day five, this is Friday into Saturday, we have a 15% risk area, Southeast Missouri, Northeast Arkansas, the western half of Tennessee, and let's call it the western third of Kentucky. And as far as rainfall goes, now this is what you can see the effect of the offshore high is sort of walling off this heavy rain. And now, this is 7 day rainfall amounts to take us through next Monday. It's only a half to three quarters of an inch in New England, and it's actually a quarter of an inch or less in southern New England and southeastern New England. It picks up more when you get to southernmost New Jersey. That's where you're just kind of getting grazed by the inch and a half line. Southeast and south central Pennsylvania, especially south central PA, down into Virginia. This is where we have areas of 3 or 4 inches. Now, you want to be really careful here, if only because of the fact that this is the time of year and this is the type of setup where we're dealing with convection, and oftentimes rainfall amounts could wind up locally being 50% higher than forecast, or even 100% higher. Could be double what's forecast. I think, Joe, that's the kind of situation we have here with this upper low. You got to be a little careful because you could wind up with a little cluster of torrential downpours that puts down a quick inch or two, and it's very localized, and the vast majority of people don't get involved in it.
Well, you put up a few moments ago the storm prediction convection map for Wednesday. Now, Wednesday, they have our area. Now, this is from 7 a.m. Wednesday to 7 a.m. on Thursday. They have the tri state area in the general area of thunderstorms. And I looked at that and kind of disagreed because I really think that the air on Wednesday is going to be too cool and too stable for us to have any kind of convection. I really didn't think. Now, maybe I might be wrong in that as we move on toward early Thursday morning, the atmosphere will begin to get humid enough, muggy enough, so that we could possibly throw in the possibility of a thunder shower. But for much of that time, Wednesday and into Wednesday night, I think we're just going to be rain and not necessarily convective showers or thunder. But still, respect what the storm prediction folks are
You are
indicating.
going to have you are going to have what's left of that upper low. Maybe not in the morning, but perhaps in the afternoon and evening.
Yeah, well, like I said, as we move on toward, let's say, overnight and toward Thursday morning, it may begin to get unstable enough to support the possibility of thunders. But I think overall for Wednesday as a whole, I think Wednesday will be a day with, it'll be coolish. It'll be in the mid and low 60s, I think, for much of the time. A lot of clouds and also periods of light rain, drizzle, fog, that kind of a setup for the middle part of the week.
Well, here's the European surface today, and you see that area. So I'm going to match it up. This is what the radar. Let me go back. So this is what the radar looks right now. Okay, in the east, and then we'll take a look at what the European has, and it matches up pretty well, I think. So we're just been kind of using the European because the GFS lately has just not done very well at all. Um, and it continues to behave very poorly, especially in the long range. The European has been much more consistent. So we're just going to kind of stick with that. And you see what happens. You got that high up in eastern Canada and near Maine tomorrow morning. And while you do have a southeast wind, uh, the rain gets to about New York City and just stops. If you're in southern New England, if you're in Long Island tomorrow, if you're in the Hudson Valley and points north, you may have to wait all day for the rain to move far enough north. Uh, it's a little odd because usually in a scenario like this, uh, the rain will try to fly up as far north as it can, but I guess there's enough dry air to hold it back. And there you can see where there's some convection there in the yellows and reds across northern Virginia, Maryland, Delaware. Then it gets into southern Pennsylvania and southern New Jersey. This is during the early morning hours of Wednesday. And then you start to see the rain area try to push a little bit further to the north. And then as you see on Thursday, the model has just these patches that fire up from time to time and place to place during the day Thursday. Meanwhile, there's a deep low energy coming into the west, and you get a 91 low there in Colorado, and gets pretty well wrapped up into the 980s pressure wise. This is why SPC's got this area of severe weather indicated for places like Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, down into Kentucky. It's the European is probably underdoing some of the amount of thunderstorm activity that's going to be with that. But here in the east, because this upper trough's taken forever, you're still going to have mechanisms in the atmosphere to trigger off some showers on Friday as that Midwest low goes up to Lake Superior. There's an arm, like a front that swings eastward and triggers off maybe a shower or thunderstorm on Friday. And that low is still rotating around for Saturday with some showers that fire up during the day. Not continuous, not doesn't cover every speck of geography. Sunday, same thing in the afternoon. Maybe you get a little break on Sunday, maybe. But that's, I think, even questionable because of what's going on in New England. So you might have to wait till maybe Monday or Tuesday of next week to get a really true dry day from start to finish.
Yeah, it looks like again we're going to be paying the price for three, really yesterday especially a superb stretch of weather, and unfortunately now again time to pay the fiddler, so to speak. And it looks like Joe, we indeed will be going through, and again not going to be gloom and doom in the sense it's going to be constantly cloudy, constantly raining. No, but each day I think there's going to be some kind of precipitation risk or precipitation threat. And the first of that will start midday or early afternoon tomorrow with some spotty areas of precipitation, light rain or drizzle breaking out across parts of the tri-state area.
Just thought maybe we take a look at the sea surface temperatures because today is the 12th and the Hurricane Center will be starting its tropical weather outlooks on Thursday. And one thing we can notice, Joe, is that these are the actual these are the actual sea surface temperature anomalies. The Atlantic is nowhere near as warm as it was last year, showing temperatures a little bit above normal in the major development region. This map was from as of yesterday. Uh, Temperatures a little bit above normal in the Caribbean and the Gulf, but not overly so. Same for the Southwest Atlantic. In the Eastern Atlantic, you can see there's a lot of blue out there near the Azores, near the Canary Island, yeah, near the Canary Islands, um, and not too far from the Azores. But the coastal waters near the jet stream, um, much below normal temperatures here in the area where you normally would see where the jet stream is. You can see it right there. There's areas of above normal, but areas of very much below normal, like 3, 4 degrees Celsius below normal, running from North Carolina east northeast out into the central Atlantic. So kind of interesting that the profile is a little different. You still have what's left of La Nina. You can see these little curls along the equator going out from South America westward um, across the Pacific. Little curls left of below normal temperatures. Then there's a big area of below normal temperatures further north uh, in the uh, in the eastern Pacific, south of Baja California, and then east to south of Hawaii. So the water temperature profile a bit different than what it was last year. And I'm noticing, by the way, Joe, look at the red that is between England and Norway and Sweden. Okay,
Yeah.
that red is like, if I'm reading that color correctly, it's like almost 3 to 4 degrees Celsius above average in the North Sea. In the North Sea,
Now, what does that all mean?
I don't know. I mean, not sure. Also, near Iceland, on the north shore of Iceland, we see an area there of water temperatures 3 to 4 degrees above normal. So, what that means, I don't know. Obviously, there's probably some kind of local effect that's going on there too, so of which we are not familiar with. Have you been to Iceland?
No, I've not been to Iceland. I'd
I
love to
mean,
go there, but never been there.
I know it's like the place to go. The last 3 or 4 years, a lot of people I know took trips to Iceland, and it looks pretty cool.
Well, yeah, a lot of people. In fact, a couple of our good friends spent a couple of weeks in Iceland several years ago, and the time to go to Iceland is October because darkness is finally settling in, and also people go to Iceland with one primary reason to see the Northern Lights. There are a lot of um, people who have the Northern Lights on their bucket list, and a lot of people who go on trips to Iceland, with the intention of seeing the aurora borealis. And October seems to be the month when once you get past October, it really starts getting cold, I presume, up there. Also, it gets a lot cloudier
Right.
in the late fall and winter, but it's just clear enough, just mild enough in October, so that if you want to see the lights, there are a lot of different tour companies who offer trips to Iceland to see the Northern Lights in September, October. So if you're interested, you might want to check that out. And incidentally, and Christopedia brings us up, and she's right, the next total eclipse of the sun is going to pass over Iceland, and in fact is going to include the capital city of Reykjavik. So that'll be in August of next year, August of 2026. Another reason, if you care to go to Iceland, also to Greenland. Although, Joe, I'm not sure. There seems to be a little bit of acrimony going on right now between those who are living in Greenland versus, Americans in recent weeks and recent months. So I'm not
Uh,
sure
I have
if
no
you.
plan. I have no plans of going to Greenland or Iceland anytime soon.
Okay.
You know, so maybe someday. I actually want to take a train across southern Canada and go from one end to the other. That's my that's
And
my
Vincent
thing.
and Vincent Croce is right. In 1972, Iceland is where Bobby Fischer won the world chess title. He beat. Well, how many people remember who Bobby Fischer's opponent was in '70?
Boris. Oh, what the hell was his last name? Boris. Oh,
Spassky.
Spassky. It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah,
Boris, darling.
yeah,
It's Moose and Squirrel.
yeah.
It's always Moose and Squirrel.
And Harold Olson remembers when you were on Pix 11, Joe, and loved when you used to talk about the Greenland block. And let's also not forget the 50-50 low.
The 50-50 low, the Greenland block. Yes, those were my big things. I got to do it many times, and yes, that is my claim to fame. Didn't win me an enemy. Didn't
All
get
right,
me
I'm going to
much.
ring the bell. I'm going to ring the bell for Vincent Croce because he remembers it was Boris Spassky. So there you go, Vincent.
Very nice, very nice. There's something else I wanted to bring up. and now I've completely forgotten. It was in my mind, in my brain, and just as quickly as it came in, it just zapped right out. Poof, gone. I don't know. Oh well, maybe I'll remember when we after the show, and then I'll bring
Now,
it up to you.
who has the questions tonight?
Actually, neither of us do because Scott Briller, the chairman, has taken a couple of days off, but he will be back tomorrow night with Briller Jeopardy.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we'll wrap it up because there's not much else going on. Uh, yeah, Harold, in the spring for this show, it's usually a quieter time. Once hurricane season gets going, especially once the first storm forms and is a threat to somebody, um, then the audience picks up. But the spring is always usually from say mid-April to early June is usually quiet times for us here on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast. Usually,
Usually.
usually. All right. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night at 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And good luck on your show, on your presentation and your public appearance. You know, watch
Well,
out for watch for those autograph fiends.
we'll let you we'll let you know how it all turns out tomorrow night.
All right. See everybody tomorrow. Night night.